today.
No changes for Sydney, Smithy?
No changes. And you just mentioned that run. They've got some great run from defence. They're just sensational. Canelli and Richards and those guys. Goods and Bradshaw up forward line. It's just a potent forward line for the Sydney Swans. But also Kieran Jack and Brett Kirk. They're so pivotal in the midfield, and they'll get some tagging jobs tonight. So they've been sensational all year.
And a reprieve for that man there, Ted Richards, with Craig Bolton going out of the side. A great opportunity for him to come back and cement a spot.
Yeah, first game since round one. He'll line up in defence today. Probably will have a big job maybe on Favola, or...
Well, he could be an option, certainly a backup option for with Grundy and LRT back there, so a very handy inclusion.
What about the Brisbane lineup, Lynchy? Because there is an important late withdrawal for them.
Yes, Troy Selwood's come into the side with Justin Sherman going out, and that is an important withdrawal, because Sherman's the one who might have added some pace, so there's going to be a lot to responsibility for McGrath, young Banfield, and the midfield rotations, certainly with Black and Rich. They've got to get the leg speed and get the ball out of the middle quickly.
The other end, Daniel Bradshaw has got old teammate Joel Patfull on him.
We are underway here at the SCG. CB straight down. Jack with the clearance. Kicks the half forward. Off the hands of They can't get a kick away. Jude Bolton picks it up. Runs through traffic. McVeigh does get onto it.
Bolton's land very heavily. Hasn't moved.
Yep. Drag down. McGrath tries to spin through a tackle. Hard to do that with Brett Kirk's tackles. Malcheski, he gets the kick, but it's a little wide.
Well, both players are up on their feet, which is pleasing. Bolton, the slower of the two, but Maguire wasn't much better.
Oh, clash of heads. Heads
boy.
have smashed together on that occasion, so both players are going to be very, very shaky. You see Bolton have been assisted from the ground.
He doesn't necessarily know he's on the ground.
No.
Troy Selwood, the late inclusion's got a big job too on Jared McVeigh.
Rains, back pocket. Forward to play on. It's about to kick to where Jude Bolton is. Bouncing ball. Power keeps it in. Travis Johnston, the 200 gamer. Little tap on. Riscatelli. Short. Thumped away by Kennedy. Richards back into the team. Dragged down by Banfield. Rich. Kick half smothered. Rolls it towards half forward. Favola, Lewis Roberts-Thompson. Favola keeps it alive. Brown slips inside. Missed Rains. Good opportunity that. Leuenberger attacks it. Goods attacked him. Polkinghorn. Riscatelli on attacking 50. McVeigh again. Handball smothered. Black. Short pass. Brown. That'll do.
He's the master of that kick, Simon Black. It's just a little chip kick. It doesn't have to be a dart. He doesn't have to drill it. He just pops it into that little space at the forward. Only the forward can get his hands to. And it doesn't matter that he's got a defender right on him. Jonathan Brown just has to take a couple of steps forward, and nothing Heath Grundy can do about it. Great start for Black, continuing on from his form last week. And wouldn't the Lions love to see this man get a confidence booster early after looking in apparent difficulties, shall we say, last week physically, Dwayne?
You should be able to tell by the way he kicks through the ball. If you saw, he certainly doesn't kick through it.
Just an 8-possession, 1-goal week last week. He poked at it a little, but he gets the full half dozen. Start.
Wouldn't you think, Lynchy, that Jared Brennan should go straight to the full forward, do you think, or not?
Well, that'll be something Michael Voss will look to use. I mean, he doesn't want to crowd up the forward 50 with Favola and Brown there, but certainly will be an option.
Selwood long, Grundy holding Jonathan Brown. It was no secret from Paul Roos. He said early in the week that Grundy will get the job on Brown. Didn't mind letting the world know.
Gee, Eamon Buchanan crying out for advantage. He was running into an open goal, and wouldn't he have loved that against his former team?
Well, first game back, to see Grundy drag the left arm of Jonathan Brown. Just didn't allow Brown to have free jump at the ball.
Now, the 50 here, we think's closer to 45 than 50.
Not anymore.
Well, a few years ago, it used to be closer to 45. I think it's pretty close to 50 these days.
Big kick this for Jonathan Brown for his second. Gives it a roost.
Looks like 45.
Plenty of distance on it and sneaks it in. He's got two. To himself, then to O'Keefe. Rich is with him. Good fist. And they can start it all again with the ball at half forward. Brisbane Lions. Rowan Smith.
Well, Dwayne, bad news for the Sydney Swans. Mark Seavey sitting on the bench, actually icing his left ankle, so you'd think he'll take no further part in the game tonight, which will dent their ruck duels.
Absolutely. Just Mumford to do most of their ruck work now. We know they don't like to ruck Adam Goods. Mumford on cue, gets a possession. Nick Malcheski long. Bradshaw one-on-one. Got it.
That's almost bread and butter for Daniel Bradshaw. He's a very strong man and underrated in those one-on-one competitions. Also, the kick was to his favourite side, so he had to just hold his ground, and Joel Patfull was in all sorts of strife as soon as that ball left the boot.
How good were the hands? I mean, not just strong hands, but they were quick hands as well.
222 games, 496 goals for the Brisbane Lions, and of course a couple of premierships. First game against them, his first goal against them. Drummond.
It's a man-on-man situation right across the field here. It's not the typical zone that you've seen for the most part of this season, but certainly Swans going man-on-man.
And off the ball, Matthew Leuenberger really trying to run Shane Mumford around.
Good mark from Rains. Had Jetta bearing down. Jetta starting on the bench tonight. Rains called to move it on. Jason Roller's old number 29. It's wide. Roberts Thompson leaves his man Jonathan Brown. Tried to get it out, in fact. Throw. Okay. Brendan Favola tries to explain himself. Crowd giving Brendan the welcome. Jared McVeigh. Very sure. And now they peel, although it comes down the middle to Malcheski. Good move. Kennelly sends a long ball. Bradshaw, Patfull. Bradshaw.
It's a bit too strong at the moment, isn't he? The first couple of contests. It was interesting, after he kicked that first goal, he pumped the fist, and as he did it, Patfull pushed him and said, get away, don't start that rubbish. But 2 for 2 now. A couple of one-on-one contests. This time Bradshaw getting the best again.
You're right. It was good ball delivery through the corridor and the hands here. But once again, as you touched on, Bradshaw was very strong in the initial body contest and then the quick 2 yards to get away from his opponent.
Friend Jonathan Brown has 2 at the other end. Bradshaw now has 2 to the right of screen. Perfect start, essentially, to this game. Not for Joel Patfull, but for the fans who like scoring footy.
There was another comment from Daniel Bradshaw to Joel Patfull as well then.
There's a bit going on there.
From the ball up, Mumford. Second effort, good. Muscatelli just knocked his handball away. Now free kick, Ryan O'Keefe's ball. He sort of had it for a half a second and then didn't have it as he was tackled by Redden.
Stay out, stay out. Fine.
Thought about going down the middle, not a lot to go to. Goes to McNalcheski. Neil Armstrong of knee surgery, of course. One small step for him, but a big step for everybody else who has knee surgery in the future with the artificial fibre. Rains from the wing, sends it long. Redden's got a paddock here. Malcheski gets back. Can he get him? He did, and put him off the kick.
Great chase from Malcheski. Fantastic. Absolute. Put pressure on.
That's how good that knee is with the artificial fibre. Richards sends it wide. Bouncing ball. Rains had to wait for it. Still goes in to try and get it. More stole it from him. Shaw, he's away. Bradshaw got it again.
Well, he's second-guessing himself now, Joel Patfull. He played in front first up, and he got held under the ball. The second time he was side by side, and he got pushed off. He was too strong, and that time he played from behind, and just the quickness off the mark got Bradshaw there. There's the great chase by Malcheski. Missed Fev by a long way the kick, but he's not sure how to play Bradshaw now, Joel Patfull.
For his third. Plenty of carry. Swings back. It's there. Bradshaw has 3.
Oh.
Would you do the straight swap Staker and Patfull?
Well, you've got Staker on Goods at the moment. So
yeah, so Patfull can run with Goods though. He's got that endurance.
You'd be loath to let Goods go if Staker's doing a good job.
Well, give me something else.
Malcheski pumps it long. Mumford edge down of it. Patfull might get a ball. He's met high. Jude Bolton just on after being met high himself.
I think he was trying to apologise, Jude Bolton. He said, sorry, he turned into me. I couldn't do much. I don't think he absolutely smashed him, and I certainly wouldn't have thought Jude Bolton's that sort of player anyway.
No, exactly. But still, the best
you always get worried when you see that head-high contact, Wayne, don't you?
Absolutely. The best players in the competition can misjudge it sometimes. Jude Bolton doesn't misjudge this. Mumford, Bolton, they're all having a play with it. Kick smothered. Kieran Jack dragged down, tackled, back up again, and still had it. He still had it. Jude Bolton to Moore, dragged down by Power, held to him.
Now, how did Kieran Jack get rid of the ball a minute ago?
Well, he didn't.
Have a look at Jude Bolton here. He does turn. He's turning around, sees him coming, and you can see he knew he did the wrong thing as soon as he got there.
Yeah, that's trouble. Could have been trouble for the man he hip and shouldered, but I think it is trouble for Jude Bolton. McVeigh outside of the foot. Moore, one grab, two. Jared Moore lines up and drills it. They lead by 11. Clark and White go at it. Kirk ducks into that tackle. Umpire was wise to it. O'Keefe handballs out. Shaw, another clearance. Short. Jude Bolton, he looks okay.
Well, he looked very nice, but what looks so good about the Sydney Swans is the unpressured clearances that they're getting from the stoppages around the centre of the ground. They're running out of congestion into space, and so you've got time to straighten up. As Reece Shaw here, there's no one within 2 or 3 metres, gets a little bit of time to straighten up, hits a good pass to Jude Bolton, who just a few minutes ago was seeing 6 balls, I'm sure.
For a 17-point lead, he struck it beautifully, like a sweet kiss, straight through the middle. Off, Jack hacks it forward, high ball, tough one to grab. O'Keefe nearly grabbed it. Moore, slick hands, Hanbury feeds it back. Jack got the initial kick out of the middle, bouncing ball. Kennedy flicks it back. O'Keefe, a wobbler towards full forward, bouncing ball. Jetta was down there, Bradshaw as well. Selwood gives to Brennan, should get them out of trouble. Not a lot to go to though, only one-on-ones. And Clark and Mumford. Mumford wins the battle. McVeigh slips it inboard. Jude Bolton hacks it towards goal. Redden standing in the defensive goal square, read it well. Handball not so good. Brennan might have to mop up the mess. He's caught. That was ball. Didn't get a clean handball away.
Well, Jace, that's
we
what
know
we're
how
talking
good he
about.
is, Jared Brennan, but he just tried to do a little bit too much then, beating the second player. They put themselves under pressure. We mentioned that if you can put pressure in the forward 50 zone, Lynch, it goes a long way towards beating the opposition, doesn't it?
This is their third opportunity to have a shot at goal, the Sydney Swans, and it purely came from pressure at the ball carrier, the good tackling pressure and chase when Brisbane were trying to get the ball out of defensive 50.
He's already got one, Jude Bolton. That's what he's got ahead of him. And that's a spear. He's got 2. They lead by 23. 3 kicks, 3 goals. This is for number 4. Across the face. It might stay in play. It does. Moore put a little high. Nick Smith gets the kick away. Smith kicked the goal on the line.
Well, Smith's goal, let's put it down to Mumford though, because he was strong in the contest, a strong body against 2 Brisbane Lions defenders, and conversely, Brisbane Lions coaching staff would be filthy with why this wasn't smashed through for a behind or out on the full or anything outside that. Great work from Mumford, got the ball to the front, Moore was involved, and young Smith just on the end of some nice work there to tow one through the middle, and that's certainly what the Lions didn't want. They'll be looking at that one during the week.
First goal of the year for Nick Smith, whose dad Mal played 1 game for the Saints back in 1982 and failed to kick any goals.
Well, the great thing about that is he's got the job on Luke Power. He kept Power to 3 touches in the first term. He's only had a couple himself, but now has a goal to his name.
Riscatelli hands it up. Rains, is that in the back? No. Jack.
Getting smashed out of the middle.
O'Keefe gathers, gives Hanbury. Now Bradshaw, pocket, Maguire. Bradshaw! Can you believe that?
He's on fire.
He's on fire, but we've seen twice in that position of the ground the stronger bodies of the the Swans players. On that occasion was Bradshaw.
Plays on quickly, bends it around. That is perfection.
Handling it.
White down to Goods. Slips the handball out, but Redden stole it. Kennedy had him, almost thrown away. Pat Fuller under siege at the moment, the Lions. Just makes it somebody else's problem. Hacks it long to a couple of one-on-ones.
Gee, he's got Brownie over a long sprint, hasn't he? Heath Grundy got some good speed.
Lewis Roberts Thompson spears the kick to half forward, and Redden takes another mark. Plays on quickly. Jonathan Brown has got 2 to beat here. Grundy being one of them. They tie up a little. Grundy wins it again. And got the free for in the back, but it's play on advantage. Ty Kennelly, they've got the midfield to themselves here. the Swans.
Gee, they've got a lot more run than Brisbane at the moment, haven't they?
To Brisbane's credit, on that occasion, they were able to man up quickly to stop the run through the corridor and force Sydney wide, but they've got so much run, the Swans.
Jesse
He's
White.
out of bounce.
He turned
Steady.
Leuenberger inside
Easy,
out
big
twice.
fella.
Steady.
Brilliant. And to his other ruckman. Play on. It was touched. Handball back towards Moore and White. Moore looks up. He's got goods if he wants him over his head. Bradshaw, Maguire, Bradshaw. They dive in. He's got him in the tackle. Drags him down. Goods comes out in his direction. They are doing as they please, the Sydney Swans.
Sherman late withdrawal doesn't help.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't help.
Maguire spears it to Clark in the middle.
And
Takes the mark.
They need him to play that big ruck rovers role too.
Jonathan Brown, good opportunity here for Vola with him. Brown, Travis Johnston, all share it. Brown tried to give it back. Jetta stolen back by Johnston. Gives it up and Banfield fumbled it. Gets it back, mops up the mess brilliantly. Against the flow. Marty Matner.
No one on the square from the kick out.
Game 150. Jetta slipped at the wrong time and Staker takes the mark.
One out again, Fev.
Staker sees him running. Roberts Thompson grabbed for Vola for Vola's ball.
It's about time. He should have had 4 or 5 free kicks already, Fev. And I'm not just sticking up for Fev, but the number of jumper pulling incidents that have already happened.
Did you see Brendan Favola looking at the umpire saying, well, you paid that one.
Yeah, what about the others?
4 more.
Actually, I've spoken to you about it, mate. Come on.
See the replay here. The kick was long from Staker.
Well, that's probably the least of them.
Yeah,
I've seen the jumper stretched a couple of times.
Which is why Brendan Favola is perplexed, because there's been worse that hasn't been paid, and it's the accumulation of the last 4 that saw that one paid. Huge kick this. This is for 2 in a row for the Brisbane Lions. And you get Fev on the ball with some confidence. Never in doubt. They're on the way back.
Swans.
Riscatelli. Patfull. Big 1.5 minutes coming up here. The Lions could sneak one here. Black, short, Brown. Now Favola's in a one-on-one with Roberts Thompson. He's got a couple of options. Favola gets there, can't mark it. Gathers his own crumb, not a lot to go to. Handball-wise, Polkinghorn, he could kick the goal. Rains, he could have a shot. Back to Jonathan Brown. From 55, bangs a long ball, it's there!
How good's that off one step?
Brown goes all the way himself. The man puts it up, and Jonathan Brown can't get there to mark, but he gets it, gives it to Fev. Wrong bloke to be getting back into form. Fev has 2. Riscatelli takes the risk, sends it long. Jonathan Brown, can he get there? Good hands. And ridden into the dirt by Grundy just to make him earn it. It was fair.
Fev on the lead.
And good pass. Fev is held up a little. Roberts Thompson with him. Redden tries to tap it down for Vola. He's getting into it now. Rolls it towards goal. Over the line. Wasn't touched. Fev has 3. Look out. Sydney did threaten to break away and put it beyond doubt. Fantastic fight back the Lions. Jude Bolt. Drummond just rode him a little. And it's Jude's free.
Yeah, he's no good again, Jude Bolton.
He was nearly knocked out in that opening minute.
A little bit unsteady, isn't
He
it?
doesn't know where he is.
Well,
he can't pick the ball up.
Well, he's looking at 6 balls, I would say. Doesn't know which one to grab. He's a bit dazed there.
Now, Jude Bolton did take it, but the umpire brought it back. I don't know why the umpire would bring it back.
Oh, his head hit the deck very hard. He face planted into the ground.
Yeah, I think he needs a little contact just before that. He was almost out to it when he hit the ground.
Hanbury pokes the pass, Goods, and the second grab. I'm not too sure why the umpire made him take that again, Jude Bolton.
Nor am I.
He gave it off, and he had no intention of letting somebody else have the possession.
Haven't seen a lot of this man in the first half, only the 7 disposals, but we know how dangerous he is, whether it be a forward or on baller.
Got a Brownlow vote when these two teams met. Round 22 last year. He was inspirational then. He might be again tonight.
Grass.
As they've always said, might look like Jane, but he plays like Tarzan. From the ball up, huge clearance to win this one. Massive players around the ball, not coming out easily. And the umpire might have to sort it out. No, they've sorted it out with a free. And 50.
Rubbing the head into the deck, I reckon.
Gee. So Nick Smith will have a shot at goal.
Just can't afford to give those. We heard the umpire actually said the rub on the head.
Yep, any
And
high contact they frown upon, you'll get pinged.
players know and coaches reinforce, you touch someone's face, you're going to be in strife. Now we'll see the free kick given for in the back, and we'll see the 50 here in a minute. Just big Matty Leuenberger just getting off the ground, just needed to help assist himself with a bit of a rub on the back of the scone.
For 2 within a minute. And he wobbles it straight. 26 points the margin. Selwood had it but lost to McGrath. Second effort, magnificent. Hacks it long. Brown got a hand to it. Gathers the crumb. Thought about dishing it off. And smother from Shaw. Malcheski can't get it out. Ball knocked out. Buchanan knows where the goals are here. Touch. Play on. Favola down there. Off hands. Selwood. Favola. He's already kicked one off the deck. Make that 2 off the deck. And 4 for the night. Dangerous kick. Brennan makes it look okay. He calls for calm. Doesn't want to go backwards.
Oh, it's a terrible
The
kick.
smallest bloke out there. Buchanan knocked away though. Rich, short. Can he hit the target? Banfield had to stretch. Got there.
Almost by luck, not design, because it was Brennan saw the loose player in the middle, but he didn't see Adam Goods and one of the other Sydney defenders coming into cover. Nearly killed the Brisbane player in the middle of the ground.
Certainly did. Now, Daniel
Buchanan.
Rich is in the right position again. He's always finds himself, and that was probably a little fortunate because it was a great defensive spoil, but he finds himself in the right position so often when there's a pack forming and a punch down the front.
The margin hasn't been 16 points since the opening term. Swans have led by 42. Straight through the middle, and the Brisbane Lions continue to surge. It's a 16-point game. 16 points. White and Clark. White wins it, but it might be a Brisbane Lions clearance. Riscatelli had it, but then fell and lost it. Brennan, gather, gets his arms free. Simon Black, back to Brennan, wants to take them on, does well. Back to Black, free man in the middle. Mitch Clark, he bangs it long. Chance for the Leapers to go up. Malcheski got hands on it, couldn't bring the mark down. Grundy, not a lot to go to. Richards wrapped up, dispossessed. Leuenberger hasn't kicked a goal for 2 years. He has now. It's a 10-point game. Jude Bolton tries a slick handball, missed the target. Blind turn, spectacular from Rains. Hands it up though to Jenner. Hands it back. Malcheski, free kick. It'll come back. It was an advantage for the Swans.
Matty, kick it up there!
Swans
Kick
free
it
to
up
Jenner.
there!
We better kick it very quickly. Kick it quickly.
Go the torp, yeah.
And a big. How good's the barrel?
He'd be spewing.
He got 3 warnings from the umpire. Kick it up there.
He didn't mean to kick it that well
No,
back.
I don't think he meant to hit it that well.
Oh, terrible
Luke
kick and
Power.
terrible attempt at a mark from Luke Power. Rains back with the flow. Ball shuffled out. Jack hacks it towards goal. Bradshaw manhandled. It won't matter. It's gone all the way. Of course, McVeigh gets the handball up and a good one too. Matnar, Goods dropped the mark. Malcheski spins out of trouble. Bradshaw over his head. Might peel back. He does. Luck's a fortune. Can you believe it? Bradshaw's got 5.
That's twice in this quarter that Sydney Swans have been the answer with 2 very quick goals.
Yep.
On that occasion, it was good sign that Adam Goods was in front and that they had plenty of crummers when the spill of the ball actually did come. Bit of it fortunate that the ball got over the back on that occasion. Matt Maguire, as you can see in the background there, very disappointed that he couldn't keep the ball in front. It was just the floater and the speed of the ball just carried over the back to give Bradshaw that shot at goal. He's had a very good one. That's 5 straight for Daniel Bradshaw tonight.
22 goals for the season now for Daniel Bradshaw. Jonathan Brown leads the race for the Coleman, and he has 23. Bradshaw, his old teammate, just 1 away. From the ball up. Clearance big here. Kennedy gave to Jack. What an input he's having. Inside 50. Is that a mark? Malcheski.
Very good grab, diving mark, and Rains has landed on Malcheski there. Might have taken the wind out of him. It was a good stretching mark, and the anticipation to see that the ball was actually just going to carry over the contest there was Adam Goods and Staker. So good work there. It's taken the mark, and then
it wasn't a mark. It was high contact initially because he put the right arm around the over the shoulder and around the head.
just felt it in the lower back there. Certainly made him earn the mark or the free kick.
They pulled the margin back to just 10 points, but this to push it back out to 29. Makes the goal umpire dance, but it's through. Mumford front spot, didn't want to take possession. Knocked down to O'Keefe, gets another possession, 4 for the turn, but it's a turnover. Johnston got it from Rains, gives to Black. Wants to set it up. Jonathan Brown, well, he was admonished by Brown a minute ago for not giving it.
Yep.
He honors the lead this time.
I don't think he had any intention of kicking to anyone other than Jonathan Brown once he got it that time.
Just like a tracer ball into Jonathan Brown. That was well done by the Brisbane Lions. Out of that stoppage, they had 2 or 3 defensive sweepers that sat back off the contest outside their forward 50 arc. Ball spilled out. They had time to spread it wide onto Simon Black, and we see every week Simon Black's ability to hit targets on the left foot.
Must kick goal.
Spot on. He has 3. And that was never in doubt. All the way, he has 4, and the Lions have a sniff again. Huge 58 seconds to three-quarter time. 22 points the margin. The home team lead. These two teams, 4 wins, 1 loss coming in. This is the battle for top spot. McVeigh towards Goods. Staker was there. Clean bowl. Malcheski gives it to Goods. Easy as you like.
Squeezed it in.
One would put that one in the book, I think, and the goal umpire had to do an enormous amount of work to get across, but good clearance work, and the numbers at the contest at the spillage inside 50 was very good, and Adam Goods out in space. Look, Paul Roos very happy with the result there.
Well, he wasn't initially. He liked the end result. That was some great footage of the Sydney coach there. We might have to revisit that.
Yeah, just good hands, right spot. Hasn't it been a big game?
The parallax error, gentlemen. It was always a goal, always on course, but from our angle, looked like it was going to be offline.
And the goal umpire ran a long way.
That's right. Paul Roos was a very worried man. 28 points, 40 seconds left. Clearance important again here. Leuenberger had it, lost it. Kirk ducks out of a tackle, hacks it to half forward. Austin with the fist. Hanbury with the crumb attempt. Johnston caught by Hanbury. Ball up.
Just put the head down, Travis. That wasn't a free. Thank you.
Umpire Steve McBurney calling the shots. 22 seconds. Time enough for a clearance and a score to either side from here. Almost it is high on Kennedy. So Kennedy needs to get a mark from this kick. He won't know how long left.
Lions have had time to get big numbers back.
Well, they haven't pushed enough players back. I reckon there's a few that are a little bit lazy getting back, Lynchy.
Here's the kick. Needs to be marked by Bradshaw. He's got it. No, he's paid it. He's been paid it on the siren.
Now, does he go the drop punt or the torp from here? What's his range like, Lynchy?
His range is good enough. I think certainly a drop punt. If he hits it well, he's certainly got the distance. And this is the side we see so often with Daniel Bradshaw. It can go right to left, but certainly will finish left to right. And,
great effort.
The umpire just thought he's got the barrel.
He is.
Love it.
This will be a lesson for young kids at home. He's got onto it. It's going. It's going.
Oh, my word!
Gone. A monster.
Turn it up.
After the siren, and they come from everywhere. It's like footy in the 70s. 34 points the margin at three-quarter time.
To kick quick goals.
Brisbane free. Saw Lukey Power trying to get free of Nick Smith. And he gets free here. Kicks it towards Jonathan Brown. Gee, Ted Richards, where Angels fear to tread.
And good work by Jonathan Brown because he could have poleaxed him.
He could have.
It's a different era.
Was poleaxed last year.
Dangerous spot.
Ty Canelli.
Favola, how's that? To Banfield from 40. They're still alive. They're not going away in a hurry, the Lions. Brennan, Jonathan Brown trying to lead up. He was manhandled. and manhandled to perfection by Grundy. Didn't give the
Look
three
at
away.
them, they're dancing.
Couple of big balls. Brown picks it up. Short pass, Polkinghorn got there. Third grab this year. This to pull the margin back to 3 goals. Huge kick from 50. Gives it some sky, bends it back. I wouldn't be reaching for the car keys just yet.
We're going to have some sore players as well. The Sydney Swans, that was one of them there in Rhino Keith and Bolton, very sore. Seavey with an ankle injury.
Fans have stuck around to sing the song here at the SCG, one of the few grounds where the fans get a chance to have a kick on the ground after the game, which they enjoy immensely. A 20-point margin. Both teams coming into this one, 4 wins and 1 loss. The Brisbane Lions will now have back-to-back losses to Melbourne last week and to the Sydney Swans away from home this week. Daniel Hanbury, who had the shoulder ripped out of the socket earlier, will get a chance to celebrate with his teammates in a matter of seconds.
You're inside.
Black.
How's it going? Not yet.
There's the roar. The Sydney Swans are back on top. 5 wins, 1 loss, and the rest of the competition below them. And they're starting to demand a little bit of respect. Paul Roos in his final year as the coach of this great club, his 8th season. And the fans may be seeing Paul Roos leave this club in as good a condition as it's ever been left by a coach departing. 16-11, 107 to the Brisbane Lions, 13-9, 87.